Hello again, Gooners. It's the loose cannon back again. Um, what's the picture like this time? I got told last time it was a little bit dark. Sorry about that. Some of the content's dark too. Loose cannon number 51, in case I haven't mentioned it before. So there's the sign behind. It's the makeshift sign and looking scruffier and scruffier all the time. A bit like Arsenal squad, you might say. Obviously, we've lost Alex Song, Robin van Persie. We've brought in those three superstars, and I reckon they're going to come good. Are they going to come good against Stoke City? That's the big question mark for today, of course. Or well, tomorrow, isn't it? That game. I'm starting to lose track of time at the moment. But anyway, we've got that big game coming up, and I'm going to check my notes at this point because I'm starting to stray a little. Anyway, as far as Stoke's concerned, it's been described as the land that football forgot by Lady Arse. I love that website, that blog, amazing. Got to check it out. Anyway, what's the team news? Well, no Koscielny. Is that going to be a huge problem? Not with Per Mertesacker around. Obviously, Per Mertesacker standing at about 8 feet tall. He's going to head all the balls that are aimed at Crouch out of the box, out of trouble. Well, let's hope so anyway. Per Mertesacker may not know exactly what he's in for at Stoke City. Obviously, it's a tough place to go. I know it's an old cliche, but it really is a tough place to go. What with Tony Pulis as the boss, I mean, he just, I mean, it's like a battlefield when you go there, and it's always difficult for any club to get points. And I think Pulis may have made a bit of a mistake saying that. That he was more worried about playing against Reading than Arsenal. That's the kind of thing, I don't know if Arsene Wenger will use it, but that's the kind of thing that the old school managers would pin up on the dressing room wall just to inspire the troops, to prove the opposition manager wrong. That's the kind of thing that some managers do. I don't think Arsene Wenger will. I think he'll just ignore that kind of comment. Pulis, I can see where he's coming from. In as much as, yes, Reading being a newly promoted side have a lot to prove, and so it was always going to be a tough game for them opening day of the season going to a newly promoted side. I can see exactly what Pulis meant, but to say he was more worried about Reading than Arsenal, that's kind of beggars belief, really. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. I did predict that we were going to win against Stoke away from home. I'm not so sure now that I've discovered that Fabianski may be deputising in goal for Chesney. I hope that's not the case. It's very hard to imagine Fabianski keeping a clean sheet against Stoke as they're launching balls into the box. He really doesn't like crosses much. I'm not saying he's like Count Dracula because that's an old gag, but he doesn't tend to claim crosses, does he? And he wears those Teflon gloves that are non-stick, and one way or another, it's very hard to see him keeping a clean sheet. At the same time, it's very hard to imagine us not scoring, so it could go either way. But if Fabianski's in goal, sorry about this. I know you're going to give me stick about it, but I'm not predicting a win, and we might even lose there. If Chesney or even Manoni is in goal, I think we will get the win that we're looking for. One of the pluses being that the pitch has now been enlarged to comply with UEFA's regulations. So apparently, all clubs in the top flight now have to have UEFA-sized pitches, which is going to play in our favour because Stoke City's pitch was apparently the smallest in the Premier League, and that's not going to be the case anymore. West Ham, also one of those other clubs that's had to change the size of their pitch. So there you go. I hope I'm I hope I'm right if Fabianski's not playing, and I hope I'm wrong if Fabianski is playing. And if he is, let's hope we can manage to pull something out of the hat. Can we pull something out of the hat as far as transfers are concerned? Well, it doesn't look like we will with Nuri Sahin. It's been dragging on. Arsene Wenger's come out and said about Nuri Sahin and the possibility of a deal. He said this: at the moment, it is not alive. Can you be not alive and not dead? It is possible. He also added that Nuri Sahin is a similar type to Jack Wilshere, suggesting that we don't really need him. Those comments about being alive and not alive and is he dead and all of that is very enigmatic, and some people have gone on to suggest that perhaps a deal will therefore be done. I'm not seeing it like that at all. Just think he's being playful with the press, that's all. So I'm not seeing Nuri Sahin as a potential Arsenal player anymore, especially bearing in mind that he keeps going on about the 9 central midfielders that we've got. So I went on to try and name them. Please let me know if I've missed one out. But obviously, Mikel Arteta 1, Santi Cazorla 2, Aaron Ramsey 3, Abu Dhabi 4. So that's 4. Coquelin 5, Francis Coquelin 6. Andre Arshavin, who rarely gets used in central midfield. So wait, I'm running out of fingers here. So 6. Then we got Thomas Rosicki, who's in sick bay for a change. Then we've got Jack Wilshere, who's out of action till October, and the ninth one being Emmanuel Frimpong. So is that a strong enough central midfield squad as far as you're concerned? Let me know. I think I'd like to add another player. Obviously, now that we've lost Alex Song, I don't think he's going to be a huge miss. But if we don't replace him with anyone, then maybe it is. Wenger said he doesn't need an average midfielder, so to me that rules out Lucas Biglia. I mean, it's spelt Biglia, but I think they pronounce it Biglia. Anyway, we don't need Biglia apparently. Not so sure. For the kind of money that we're talking about £5 to £6 million. It might be worth the gamble, I think. But based on what I saw in the pre-season, I can't say I was overly impressed with him. And even though some people don't make judgments on pre-season, I tend to do that, especially after Fabianski had such a nightmare against Barnet. I'm wondering if he's ever put that game behind him. I think he kept a clean sheet in that game. So let's hope he has a nightmare at Stoke and keeps a clean sheet. I'll be happy with that. And really, to be honest, I really want Fabianski to prove me completely wrong. I said the same kind of thing about Denilson. Never was convinced about him. Look at him now. Well, look at him now. He could be on the move to AC Milan. That's the latest we're hearing. Can't believe it. But apparently, his deal with Sao Paulo could be cancelled and off he might go to AC Milan. And joining him, possibly Nicholas Bentner. Again, can't see that happening. Another player on the way out, that will bring us down to eight central midfielders if he does go. Andre Arshavin to Zenit St. Petersburg. Are we hearing a lot about that? Not really. Think he's in Russia. I heard he was in Russia on some kind of business, whether it's footballing or not. No one ever made it clear, but he's out there or was out there very recently. Whether he's come back in time for the Stoke game remains to be seen. But he's on the way out. Sebastian Scalacci, of course, on the way out, but again, it's a very slow-moving vehicle that he's travelling in as far as the transfer exit door is concerned. Olympiacos is the only one beckoning towards the Frenchman. And what about Chu Young Park? Well, there's a couple of options for him. Al Ain of the UAE, United Arab Emirates, for those of you not so well informed, and the other team being Celta Vigo. I think is more likely to end up in the Middle East, if you ask me, or perhaps he'll even go back to the Far East, who knows. But having been demoted from number 9 to number 30, it's a severe loss of face for the South Korean, who performed pretty well in the Olympics for his country, so there should be some takers, you would imagine. There aren't any takers for Marouane Chamakh, it appears. No big teams anyway that he wants to go to, so I'm sort of seeing him getting loaned out. And on the subject of loans, of course, Arsene Wenger has come out and said that he expects most of the deadline day or close to deadline day transfer business to be concluded. Most of it that it will be concluded will be loan deals as opposed to permanent deals. Obviously, Nuri Sahin being a case in point, looks like he's going to go to Liverpool for £10 million or close to it. That's the loan fee, something like that anyway. And of course, I'm not quite sure who's worked out that figure, but they're paying, I think it must be about £80,000 a week. So do the maths yourself, let me know. Jesus Navas, of course, a player we've been heavily linked with on Santi Cazorla's recommendation. €15 million he will cost if we want him on a permanent basis. What if we got him in on a loan? Can't see that happening on a loan basis, but you never know. So what else has been going on? Well, Manuel Almunia has said that he left the club as a gentleman. Is that a subtle dig at Alex Song? Who knows? Freddie Ljungberg, talking to gentleman, he's retired from the game. He will be very much missed. At this point, can I grab a magazine, a J Soccer magazine? There's a picture of Freddie there, Freddie Ljungberg. So don't forget, subscribe to J Soccer magazine. it's all good. And if you like Freddie, you don't want to miss that particular article. So there you go. Theo Walcott. Yeah, we've got to discuss Theo. Big favourite of mine. Theo Walcott. A 5-year deal was being offered to him by the club, apparently. Both parties, according to Arsene Wenger, are around the table. We've obviously got our little triumvirate, including Dick Law, who negotiate these deals. Arsene Wenger is not directly involved in these negotiations, which is interesting. So you wonder how that one's going to pan out. I think Theo Walcott will sign, which is why there's been no bad press surrounding him. There's been a bit of bad press, but it's just been off the kind of low, kind of blog websites. Some people saying that he shouldn't try and get the best deal he possibly can. But it looks like he's going to get a decent deal, a 5-year deal. And Theo wants to stay. The club want him to stay. So negotiations continue, and I expect a favourable outcome. We shall see about that. I also expect a favourable outcome when it comes to Andre Santos getting fined by the police or something. I don't think he's been fined just yet. Charged by the police for driving at 130 miles per hour, allegedly. And perhaps he was in a rush to get to training. Who knows? I think it happened on the night before the opening game of the season, so perhaps not. But he's due to report back to the police in September. I think he's been given a slap on the wrist by the club as well. Whether it's a fine's been included, I'm not too sure. But Andre Santos, yeah, I didn't realise he could go that fast, 130 miles an hour. Well done to him. But no, we should tick him off. Really, he should behave himself, obviously. But I'm very happy with Andre Santos, and I don't want to say anything bad about him. Sorry about that. No, I'm not the law. I'm not gonna start running the rule with him or telling him what to do. And just keep playing whenever you can, Andre. And I'd love to see you in the team. Perhaps in a more forward position than left back, though. Left back, as some people have pointed out, he's a little bit of a liability at times, but sometimes he comes in with these last-ditch tackles against all the odds, I have to say, because the way he goes in is not, strictly speaking, never been a defender, but the way he tackles, it's kind of quite interesting the way he tackles. It's kind of unorthodox, let's say. He's certainly not Izzy. He's not a Nigel Winterburn. That's perfectly clear. But this guy can come up with goals. So then why not play him further up the park? Let Kieran Gibbs play behind him. But Kieran Gibbs arguably could play further up the park as well. So have we got any proper left backs at the club? Which is why, of course, many of those transfer websites are linking us with left backs. But none of the left backs, apart from Leighton Baines, are worth their salt, in my opinion, of the ones we've been linked with. So I don't see a sign in Leighton Baines. I wish it were true, but I don't think it's going to happen. Anyway, I think I better leave it for now. It's been another impromptu loose cannon, number 51. Yes, I think I'm on number 51 now, or is it 52? One of the two. So if I've said the wrong numbers earlier on, sorry about that. But that's what happens in this crazy world of football. Until the next time, up the Gooners.